One of the worst things about having $500 million to $1 trillion is being blamed for all the bad things that happen in the world. Nope, forget that. That's the only bad thing. I don't think anyone in the Rothschild family really cares what Ivan from Niš, Serbia thinks of them, though. Since the 18th century, the richest family in the world has been the subject of hundreds, if not thousands, of conspiracy theories. However, they have a much better way to spend their time, buying expensive things that will make them even richer in the long run. Today, we're going to talk about the Rothschilds' best purchases over the years. Planet 9 Yacht. Nat Rothschild, a member of a newer group of Rothschilds, bought the Planet 9 super yacht. It is one of the few things this family has bought that shows how rich they are. The Planet 9 is one of the most expensive boats in the world, costing $102 million. It can hold up to 16 guests in a very luxurious setting, and its 26-person crew treats them like kings, or even better, like Rothschilds. With its chopper deck, guests can come and go at their own convenience. Even though the ship is made to be an explorer ship, it has some very fancy decorations and a lot of high-end comforts. The most amazing thing about the Planet 9 ship, though, is that it costs more than most of Rothschild's apartments, houses, manors, and castles. Gunnersbury Park is number 9. Gunnersbury, however, is not one of them. Even though it costs a few million more than the huge yacht, this beautiful home is worth every penny. Nathan Mayer Rothschild built Gunnersbury in 1835. It was the first house that the Rothschild family owned in Great Britain. He paid £17,000 for the land, which may not seem like much to you. With inflation taken into account, this would be worth about $3 million or £2.2 million. Once the Coy house was built and beautifully decorated, and the fields around it were turned into a beautiful park, its price went up by a huge amount. Just 100 years later, the house was sold to the governments of Ealing and Acton for the equivalent of $132 million today. Still, all experts say that Rothschild did this more out of charity than anything else, since the estate is worth much more. The fact that Ealing and Acton are going to spend £50 million or $66 million to fix up the house is proof of this. Chateau Mutan Rothschild comes in at number 8. With a portfolio worth more than $25 billion, it's not surprising that some of their most valuable sites are on this list. It's important to talk about Chateau Mutan Rothschild here. That's just the property, which is thought to be worth between $150 million and $200 million. This Bordeaux vineyard's value is going up by a factor of 10 because it makes the famous Chateau Mutan Rothschild wine. One bottle of this well-known wine can cost as much as $700. The Cabernet Sauvignon vineyard is over 222 acres, and the grapes are fermented in rare, expensive oak vats at the house. The ready wine is put into wood barrels to age and get special care. Baron Philippe de Rothschild made sure that each year's labels are real works of art by having famous artists like Francis Bacon and Pablo Picasso make them. Now that I know this, the price tag of $700 starts to sound like a good deal more and more. Waddesdon Manor is the crown jewel of the Rothschild family, and there's no question about it. Baron Ferdinand de Rothschild and his family had this beautiful work of architecture made for them. The Baron paid a high price, about 1.5 million British pounds, which is a lot of money. Taking inflation into account, they would be worth about 210 million pounds today. The house is now a museum, and more than 460,000 people visit it every year. Not the last two, when everyone was locked in their homes. Even so, I guess being locked up in a house like Waddesdon Manor wouldn't be the end of the world. Every wall in the house is covered with paintings and other works of art. Portraits by great British artists that Baron Ferdinand bought for a lot of money are still in this beautiful palace. But the house is just as impressive on the outside as it is on the inside. So are priceless carpets, tapestries, furniture, ceramics, books, and other treasures. In fact, it cost about what would be 68 million British pounds today to make this beautiful park. The Rothschild family lived in the house for 3 generations. After that, they chose to open this beautiful mansion to the public. Isn't that a move of power? To leave a $356 million estate so that people can be amazed by how rich you were. Agora Oil and Gas, the Rothschilds' real estate, which stretches from the United States to Israel and is worth more than $25 billion, is only a small part of their wealth. The investments of the family with the most money in the world are what really make them a powerhouse. The family has a lot of businesses all over the world, but Agora Oil and Gas was one of their most important purchases in recent years. The company was bought by Lord Rothschild for $370 million, which is a small amount of money for him, It is now worth well over $1.4 billion. Yes, Lord Rothschild made a cool $1 billion from this business in less than 10 years. Company's business is oil and gas, as the name suggests, and it is looking for black gold in the North Sea. With energy prices going through the roof right now, it wouldn't be surprising if Lord Rothschild made another $1 billion by the end of the year. Rothchild Art Collection. The Rothschilds have a huge collection of art and give the most money to museums and art houses around the world. A rough estimate of how much their beautiful art collection is worth says that it is around $2 billion. From amazing paintings by some of the most famous artists of all time to expensive furniture that was once used by kings, the Rothschilds know how to show off their huge wealth while also giving off an air of high class and great taste. Hitler, who wanted to be an artist before he became known as a power-hungry monster, was very interested in the Rothschilds' collection of art. After his army took over France, he went right to the airport and flew there to get some of the beautiful paintings for himself. The Nazis took about 3,500 works of art as booty. After the war, some of them were given back, but many of them have never been found. RIT Capital Partners. The Rothschilds have stakes in a lot of different businesses, but banking is where they are most interested. One of the many conspiracy ideas says that they own 30% of all the big banks in the world. We won't know soon enough whether or not this is true. Still, to make sure we were right to be suspicious, Jacob Rothschild set up the Rothschild Investment Trust to run the family's bank assets in England. RIT Capital Partners is the name of this giant trust now. Even though the RIT sold its banking shares to the Royal Bank of Scotland in 1985, it is still worth more than $7.7 billion today. The Spencer House, which is where the trust is based, is without a doubt the most interesting thing it owns. The RIT is very proud of this house, which is in the heart of London. The house was renovated in the late 1980s and is known as London's most expensive renovation of the 20th century. It is decorated with gold, has antique furniture, and has works of art by famous artists hanging on every wall. In fact, the name fits this huge and very expensive project. The Spencer House is worth about £35 million right now, but it is worth 3 to 4 times that much because of its history. The third company is Riotto Mining Corporation. The family of Rothschild knows how to make money. They have some of the most gold of anyone in the world, but their mining companies are by far their most valuable assets. Rio Tinto Mining is one of the 2 mining companies that bring in about a quarter of Rothschild's $103 billion fortune. Rio Tinto is the second biggest company in the world that mines metals. When the Rothschild family bought this business, it was just a small mining operation in a nearby town. But 150 years later, Rio Tinto is still the biggest copper producer in the world, making more than $30 billion each year. Number 2. La Compagnie Financiere. When Edmond Adolphe de Rothschild set up La Compagnie Financiere, he wanted it to be the best interdealer broker in the world. But La Compagnie Financiere was even better than he had hoped. This company is now worth nearly $121 billion, which is a lot of money. The company's financial operations are run out of Switzerland, which is known for many things, including its chocolate, its refusal to take sides, and especially its beautiful cows. Switzerland is also known for its strong banking sector. Benjamin de Rothschild, Edmund's son, runs the business today. He was able to grow the business to more than 30 countries. Number 1, Glencore Mining. Last, but not least, the biggest asset of the Rothschild family is Glencore Mining, which is worth more than $127.5 billion. The Australian company that owns several mines is just one of the things that the Rothschild family owns. Yet, it is richer than Bill Gates right now. And only 3 other people in the Rothschilds' portfolio are richer than this one company. With 145,000 employees, the company is one of the biggest employers in Australia and has a lot of power in local politics. Some of the theories about the Rothschilds may turn out to be true. From everything here, it's clear that the Rothschild family deserves to be at the top of the world and to be the target of conspiracy theorists all over the world.